Hello and welcome. Friday evening. I think it's the first time we have 2 streams in a row. So yeah, I'll try to keep this up. Maybe someday when I'm actually get used to it, I also will create beforehand an event for that. That being said, let's look into what we want to do today. As always, let's start off with Excalibur Draw. And give me a second. I need to close this one, I guess. Okay. Now, today's topics. There we go. Okay. You're seeing what I'm seeing. Now, what will we do today? We have some voice API that I found out I actually have access to, as well on the API itself, as well as the playground. And I'm only going to dive into real-time voice today. So let's see. I have following topics. I think I already have them here. Okay. Never mind. Just write them down again. So, real-time voice. Jesus Christ. Tested. Testing. Yeah, let's just keep it like that. The second topic will be real-time voice in an actual app. Which will include cursor usage, just a bit, and will also include AI for building an app. Maybe we even go to bold.new. We'll see. And then I guess it's how do we call it? I have an idea. Basically, digital employee incoming personal JARVIS concept. So digital employee incoming personal JARVIS concept. This is basically something that I want to do. Like every week I try to make some business use some use case and try to build up out a concept for that to just showcase some of the thinking process, some of the challenges to it and how to anticipate them. That will be today's stream as well. So let's see. Should I? Yeah, I think I will get up the headphones. Yeah, now I look like a radio. A guy from the radio. Real-time voice testing. Let's switch to this tab. Ta-da! I already opened the playground. We didn't do a lot here. And I don't want to be honest. So let's just start with the real-time API. So this is the OpenAI playground you get through the platform.openai.com, which basically includes all your dashboards and API keys and stuff, and also the playground. And do we want to open the logs? No, I don't want to. So, Hey, how are you doing?
Hey there. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you?
I'm doing great as well. I'm not sure if I like the voice, honestly.
I appreciate your honesty. If you prefer a different style or tone, just let me know, and I'll try to adjust to something more to your liking. What would you prefer?
You sound a bit. Maybe it's just me having like studio headphones on, but you sound a bit.
Well, I appreciate the feedback.
Wait.
Sometimes different.
I'm not done. You sound a bit like a robot. I'd love to be just for you to sound more natural.
Got it. I'll aim for a more natural tone. How's this? Hopefully, it feels a bit more relaxed and less robotic for you.
It's actually a bit better, but still not good. I'll switch up. It's. Is this the real one? Well, yeah, okay, like the response times, response grade, input audio buffered, rate limits updated. Okay, this is like going in, and we get an answer. Is that the real-time audio? Let me have a quick look. Okay, we have like half a second, I guess. Prefixes. Silence. Yeah, half a second for silence recognition. Next tokens. Okay.
What's up? Hey there, I'm Shimmer.
They all sound pretty like metallic. Interesting. But that's the same they have in their docs. So yeah, well, let's roll with that for the time being, because that's not the same voices you have in the ChatGPT app. Kind of weird, but it is what it is. Okay, so how can you use this? I am not using this yet, but with the lower latency and the interruption stuff, you pretty much set to have a longer conversation. The conversation is also given out in text, so that's not like, and you can also stop and then just keep going. For example, if I now say, "Hey, what was my first question again?"
I'm sorry, but I can't recall previous interactions or questions. How can I assist you today?
That's interesting. So you only can work session-based, is that right?
Yes, exactly. I operate based on the current session. Each conversation is independent, so I don't have access to past interactions. How can I help you right now?
Interesting. So if I would love to have the conversation history from a previous session, I would have to hand over this like in system prompt or something?
Exactly. If you wanted to continue a conversation or refer to past interactions, providing the context or history in your initial prompt would be the way to go. That helps keep the conversation flowing smoothly. How can I assist you further?
You could talk a bit faster, to be honest.
My apologies for that. I'll keep it clear and at a more moderate pace. How can I help you today?
Let's do something. I would love to calculate something that I had in mind today, or like this morning. If I would have a mechanical battery, and this mechanical battery would work with pressurized air, how would I do it?
It sounds like you're describing a system similar to a compressed air energy storage, CAS system. In a CAS system, excess energy is used to compress air and store it in a reservoir. When you need to retrieve the energy, the compressed air is released, heated, and expanded in a turbine to generate electricity. To calculate the potential energy storage and retrieval, you'd need to consider factors like the volume and pressure of the air, the efficiency of your compression and expansion processes, and the thermal dynamics involved. It's a complex calculation.
Okay, so I was thinking about what if we don't pressurize the air but use the air to move, let's say, some heavy stone up and then let the stone down to generate, like to get the energy back. Would this work?
Absolutely, that's a concept known as a gravity battery. Here's how it works. 1. Energy storage. When you have excess energy, you use it to power a system that lifts a heavy object, like a large stone, to a higher elevation. This is similar to compressing air or pumping water uphill in other types of energy storage systems.
How is the efficiency of such a system?
The efficiency of a gravity battery can vary based on several factors, including the mechanical setup, the mass of the lift, the mass of the object, and the efficiency of the generators or turbines used. Typically, the efficiency ranges from 60 to 80%. Here's why. Mechanical losses. Friction in the pulleys, cables, and other mechanical parts.
I think that's fine. Thank you very much. Can you repeat this in French?
Bien sûr. Voici la même explication en français. L'efficacité d'une batterie gravitationnelle peut varier en fonction de plusieurs facteurs, dont la configuration mécanique, la hauteur de la levée, la masse de l'objet et l'efficacité des générateurs ou turbines utilisées.
Interesting. Thank you. I can switch back to English. Yeah, that's that. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a good day.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could help. If you have more questions in the future, feel free to ask. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, guess this works. So, yeah, that's the voice mode. You see it's working. You could, I would love to do something. For example, let me pull up something quickly. Let's go with that one. And we throw in, let me copy this. You're helpful. Human, your voice and personality should be warm, engaging, lovely. Okay. This is the program we set up for companies to skip 6 months of pain of learning all the advanced concepts. I'll share this with you. It's a program we set up for companies to skip 6 months of pain of learning all the advanced concepts of practical AI application inside existing business processes and software solutions. Okay, let me say concept. Then let me quickly copy this. I hope. Oh Jesus! I hate why do companies not implement this properly? Yeah. I need some Face ID on my computer. Gotta love two-factor authentications. Let's see. Okay. That's that. It's funny, if I look into my CRM, I have my Microsoft login, and then I need sometimes even more. But yeah, okay. So that's the one. And there is the quote. Where's the quote? Yeah, interesting. I need. So what I just want now is want to adjust the system a bit to be more, just selling your stuff basically. I'll put it in German. It's also fine. Should be generally working. Here a helpful AI that tries to promote our news. AI tech audit program. Remember that you aren't a human, can do things and go on. Okay. Talk quickly doesn't work as well, to be honest, but okay. And then I would love to do this background. These are some best practices for promoting AI workshops. And now let me quickly find some, because I'm not a salesman, best practices to promote workshops in a call. Tactics. There we go. Step 1, 2, 3. That's on hosting. To promote and sell. Okay, Google in Germany seems to have some new functions. Interesting. To market powerful strategies to promote and sell your workshops. Don't make people pick up the phone, blah, blah, blah. Okay. We just throw something in. I would love to. So why are we doing this? Is like usually you have concepts to learn to do anything. And I love AI to actually use it to throw in these best practices so it can make use of the information. I always, by the way, write in there, like, don't make it literal. These are some best practices for prompting AI workshops. Don't use this literally, but rather as a guide to create your own. To not create, guide your own behavior. Okay. So what did we do? Like, I just copied the voice instructions here, added that we have a product. This is like the workshop. It's called workshop concept. To have it actually workshop concept. Okay. General. Okay. Yeah. I threw in like general instructions, I threw in workshop concept, and I threw in background with some best practices. We now go ahead and throw this in there. Let's clear this up. And now, Okay, let's make an actual call. I'm interested, like, because real-time API is like for something like cold calls might be actually pretty cool and useful. It's not that cheap to use, honestly. But imagine, like, even if you had a worse rate on actual calls, you could do so many of them for like a much lower price than you would do with a actual salesman. And it's even more interesting if you have like no classical sales, but if you're non-profit and you wanna start a campaign or reactivate clients that you didn't talk to for a long time, stuff like that. So there's actually a lot of potential from my point of view. Let's go. Hello?
Hallo, wie kann ich Ihnen helfen?
So yeah, you are actually the salesperson, and please talk in English to me. And I say hello because you called me.
Ah, got it. Hello there. I'm reaching out because I have an exciting opportunity that could really benefit your company. How would you like to cut through the complexities of integrating AI into your products and services and get a jump start in just 6 months?
Okay, what does this actually mean?
Great question. With our AI Tech Audit program, we help your company quickly and effectively integrate generative AI into your products or services.
Could you please talk a bit more like an actual human, and because like you sound like an AI, to be honest.
Absolutely. Let's make this more conversational. So, imagine skipping the headache of figuring out AI on your own. Our AI Tech Audit is like having a guided tour through the AI landscape. We check out where your company stands, show your team the ropes with practical AI training, and help you map out a plan to weave AI smoothly into what you do. It's a bit like having a GPS for your AI journey. How does that sound?
Okay, make this again and make it a lot more concise and talk a lot faster.
Sure thing. With our AI Tech Audit, we fast-track your company's AI integration. We analyze your current setup, train your team with hands-on AI skills, and develop a custom plan to integrate AI into your products. It's like going from zero to AI hero in no time.
Okay, I think we need a little bit more call scripts. Be more concise still, and try this again. And like we didn't talk before. Like, it's the first time I have you calling me, and I don't even know who you are. So let's restart the conversation.
Absolutely. Hi, I'm calling to introduce our AI Tech Audit. In just 6 months, we evaluate...
Like, who are you? I don't even know you.
My apologies for jumping in too fast. I'm from company name. We specialize in helping businesses integrate AI into their operations. Our AI Tech Audit is a program designed to quickly get your company up to speed with AI integration. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, I might be. We actually struggle with our AI efforts. So what can you actually do for us?
We can streamline your AI journey. Our program starts by evaluating your current capabilities and projects to identify opportunities for AI. Then, we train your team in practical AI applications. And finally, we work with you to develop a tailored strategy for integrating AI into your products or services. It's all about giving you the tools and guidance to succeed with AI.
Okay. How actually we do this? Like, what are the details? Like, got me through it, but do it precise.
Certainly. Here's how it works. First,
Oh, interesting. So I got blocked with content filters. Let's try again.
absolutely. Let's dive back in. First, we analyze your current AI use and potential. Second, we train. We provide hands-on training for your teams. Third, strategize. We develop a custom AI integration plan for your business. In a nutshell, we guide you through the entire process of incorporating AI. Ready to explore how this can work for you?
Okay, can you go a bit more into detail about the train part? Like, what's the actual stuff we can learn? Like, because I feel like we already have a lot of competence in our team.
Happy to elaborate. During the training phase, we focus on product strategy, teaching your product teams how to innovate with AI, creating new concepts, technical development, guiding your developers on building robust AI systems, focusing on scalability, performance, and security, fine-tuning models, customizing AI models to suit your specific needs. This training ensures your team can effectively implement and manage AI technologies.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you book an appointment for me, please?
I'd be happy to help with that. To schedule an appointment, could you please provide me with your preferred date and time and the best way to reach you? If you'd rather handle the booking yourself, I can send you a link to our online scheduler. Let me know what works best for you.
Yeah, just send me a link, please.
Sure thing. I'll send you a link to our online scheduler right away. You can pick a time that fits your schedule and we'll be all set. Looking forward to speaking with you.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Have a great day. Goodbye.
Okay. So I think this needs a lot of testing and it has to be faster. Like the response times were like ridiculous, to be honest. So that's actually something that has to be better. But it is a lot faster in the actual like ChatGPT app. So I guess you can check that. So I told it like in several tests now to be faster. It's like also saying it's somewhere here, like talk quickly. Yeah, there, talk quickly. So yeah, it's not really doing this as of now. Remember, this all of this is in beta still. So, but I think it shows already. Like, I think that the conversation itself was not bad. Thinking that we would provide more well-suited call scripts and maybe a knowledge base where it can actually retrieve answers from. It might be even better, which increases the latency. I thought the latency was fine. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but I think this part, it already answered before the text was. Like, it already started streaming the audio. The text wasn't even there. So, yeah, it's really, really interesting how they've done it. And the low latency stuff is real. Like, I don't think a human would answer a lot faster. So that's definitely an achievement. And I'm pretty sure, like, I'm going now from the US to from Germany to the US and back. So yeah, that's interesting. I think it's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. So let's see. There we go. Yeah. Cool. So that's that. How should we go about this? So if you want to OpenAI Realtime API. So this is the doc. I think we have some quick starts, real-time console, LiveKit integration. To use Real with LiveKit's WebRTC infrastructure. LiveKit, I think it's also Agora. Twilio, I know. Okay, so with Twilio, you could actually do actual phone calls, like calling someone on the phone and have it talk to the API. I've seen an integration from Twilio. They uploaded a video. Yeah, it's a bit tricky still. Give me a second. I'll be back in a second. You can already have a look here. Okay. Let's see. I would love to. Like, we have some JavaScript code. Because I have a Python project already set up, but to share the audio with you, I need to have it somehow in the browser. So I would love to. I would love to have some app that we could come up with. WebRTC. What is LiveKit? Don't know what this is. Build a real-time AI. Instantly transport audio and video between LLMs and your users. Start building for free. Ah, interesting. Okay, they have pre-built components and stuff. That's interesting. Okay, yeah, why not? Let's try this. Let me quickly log in. Authorize. Continue. Now you can join me. Okay. So the goal is to actually test out the voice mode. So we just now had our playground. That's already here. We had a playground where we simulated a sales call, like the AI calling me and trying to sell me something. That something was just from our from standard of ours, the text that stands like on the quote. And some background on what to look after, which I just copied from the internet. Now playground is fine, but let's try to get this into an actual application. And because I would love to also do what I've done like for weeks now and use AI to program basically anything. So let's start like voice mode tests, make it a bit bigger so you can see better. And there we go. Just tell us more about your project. It's just me. What kind of application are you building? AI. Are you considering switching to no? Why did you choose to use LiveKit? Open source, ease of use. Ease of use is actually what it is. How did you find out about us? Someone told me about software review. Okay, other. OpenAI. Finish. Okay. I think Kevin joined us. Guten Abend, Kevin. On Twitch, actually. I wouldn't have thought that anyone's watching on Twitch. Thank you. Welcome. Yeah, we just tested OpenAI's real-time application. Now try out LiveKit to see if we can quickly integrate OpenAI's speech-to-speech into an actual application. So yeah. I actually don't even understand what LiveKit gives us. So it seems to be an abstraction layer between us. Build your first agent under 10 minutes. Voice agent speech to more. Okay, yeah, maybe this is not the time and place for experimenting. Let's do something else then, shall we? So I replace the screen with the whole screen. Okay, now let's switch to cursor. Wait a second, I'll set up a new folder quickly for us. Stream voice mode. Voice mode. Okay, then we will do two folds. Let's quickly switch to so voice testing is done. Can I actually? No, I can't. Okay. What do we want to build? So I would love to have an interface for voice commands, because I need some interface in the browser to actually be able to talk to any one of you. You can't see my screen anymore. That's weird. Why is that? Sorry for that. There we go. Kevin, I stream on YouTube and LinkedIn. On YouTube, we have a podcast channel where the stream is also live now. And yeah, our channel and my channels and our YouTube channel, I have a co-host for the podcast, is mostly about AI in business and how to apply business processes, or like how to improve business processes with AI. And my specialty is I've done a lot of AI development, and yeah, actually go about and try to share all my learnings so that others don't have to go through all the same pain. That's what I'm aiming for, and that's why I try to now get into the streaming business, because it forces me a bit to systemize what I think and put it in writing, or you see, like an Excali draw, for that matter. So yeah, please. I'm pretty new to the streaming, and I hope you don't find it too draggy at times. I'll try to keep it as concise as possible. The channel on YouTube is called the AI Boardroom. You can post a link in here. Give me a sec. So let's say your channel. There we go. I hope this goes out to everyone. Okay, I think it should be on Twitch now. So yeah, that's the channel on YouTube. Also under the same name, you find it on Spotify and Deezer, Amazon, and iTunes, like Apple Podcasts. So yeah, basically everywhere where you usually find podcasts. We have like one episode like once or twice a month, sometimes depending on time, because working full time and having podcasts and stuff. So it's not completely easy, especially if you have family. So yeah. My co-host is from Washington, so yeah, we have different influences there. It's everything's in English because we have an international audience. So yeah, and you also find a lot of our content on LinkedIn, where I mostly put my content first. Try to do some shorts and stuff. So yeah, would love you to check it out. I think let's skip this part. I would love to first let's switch it up, because I think for everyone's not into programming, he might be a bit lost on the next part. So let's start. Let's start with the digital employee. So the general idea. So let's say idea. The general idea is to actually go ahead and create a personal voice assistant. And I have not decided how to go about. So usually when I have a concept for anything AI, I go ahead and have basically a three-step way of approaching it. So last week we talked about 5 levels of AI application. And I mostly now skip the first levels, which is like basic prompting and prompt engineering. Second level would be some RAG solution. And level 3 is to get like a bit deeper, have chained prompts and stuff. So I usually start there because everything else is just playing around, and you only get real value, at least from what I try to achieve, when you go a bit deeper and combine stuff. So first of all, what's the goal? I have the actual real problem that I have oftentimes by kids. I'm sitting in a car and time to think, but I have hands to do something. And I would love to have some voice interface that actually can do stuff. If I take my experience with Cursor, which is an AI-first programming environment, and if I take my experience with Claude and also O1 and stuff, so there is a lot of potential of these models being able to actually do something useful. So what I want is, first of all, voice interface with functions that are accessible everywhere with an internet connection, of course. Then they have to have access to core functions, including being able to execute tasks on a PC of some kind. For example, on a Linux system or a Docker container. So, and then I would love it to be able to, like this, basically, let's go about it like this. This would include creating files, or let's just not like just say managing files. Browse the internet, of course. Which research, maybe we could combine this with Perplexity to actually get some research done. Task scheduling, which is like one of the most important things if you want to do more complex stuff. Having the AI actually plan out what to do with a request, and also being able to ask questions. So if you have a plan, you can then and O1, for example, is really, really good at it. So I don't know if you already used O1. It's actually really, really cool in that it is really good at planning. And so if you have a request, you could say, okay, you have a voice interface that gets the request, then executes a function, which then creates the plan using O1, which then puts the plan into some databases, some kind of thing, and then you can actually take a lesser intelligent AI to work through it. And lesser intelligent is like in big quotes, because you have Claude 3.5, which is not that expensive compared to what it can do. So that is something to think about and to go about this. So task management, that's a biggie. Maybe we can we make it bold? Oh, we can't, I think. Okay. Never changed the text by Excalibur. Just I've never noticed even. Interesting. Okay. Maybe if someone knows Excalibur, can give me a hint. Okay, so we have managing files. We have browse the internet, of course. Research, task management. That's mostly it. And then, of course, important, execute code, at least Python. The general idea is, because I was talking about this for a financial solution, which we have had like 2 streams ago in concept, where I say, okay, like the best tool would be the one that can actually create the analysis itself, but just knowing what databases we have, and then just looking at the schemas and creating Python functions by itself. So that's something you could also like do with tools. And that's like the kind of agentic behavior which leans more into autonomy, but also there, like, always keep the human in the loop. In our case, it's even like us starting the conversation and it being able to execute on it. And the cool thing, and of course you could have done this before too, but with real-time voice, it feels so much more natural, because not having to wait, being able to interrupt, these are all really, really interesting functions and capabilities we haven't had before. So because sometimes you look at your AI and you see like, yeah, mate, you're running in the wrong direction. And then being able to just interrupt and correct this without waiting for it to be wrong is actually suitable. Still have to figure out how we apply this to like actual file creation. Like, what if it creates a file, we interrupt it? Does it like roll back the file creation, or are we going about and just like stop inputting into the file and rework the text, or just, yeah, like you see, like if you go about like really actual use cases, you quickly get to the point where you have a lot of questions that need answering. And to be able to answer this and to anticipate these questions beforehand, that's why we do the streams, and that's why we go like live about this. And usually I do some more business-related case, but this one, the real-time voice, got me hooked, a lot. And I have a Python script which can create files and stuff, which I get from another YouTuber. And that's really cool. I really I really love that we have stuff like this already, and it works pretty well. Yeah. But yeah, first things first. So yeah, that's like the baseline, because then I could sit there and just talk about it, let it execute stuff, let it open the browser to actually show stuff, and yeah, just being able to move in some way, shape, or form through an operating system. This might be like closed Linux container, for example, because safety. I don't want it, like, if it starts, and if it gets the option to edit files and or like access the file system or access the terminal, I don't want it to have access to my running machine and like have it going wild there, because I would love to give it some autonomy. You know, I oftentimes like, if I watch or rewatch Iron Man or any of the Avengers films, where you see how Iron Man interacts with Jarvis. It's what got me hooked to AI in the first place back in 2008. And that's why I followed this whole industry so closely. It is exactly that. But if you actually look at the circumstances, first of all, sometimes it is like Jarvis is acting on what he has in mind. Like if you think about the first scene where he flies out with his Iron Man suit, and then goes to Gomera, I think, and like frees the people there. He just thinks about what he wants to do, doesn't say it out loud, and still the AI is able to set everything up. So that's not like that's like, we are far away from that. We don't have a brain interface, but we have a voice interface. And the other thing that Jarvis has is, like, Jarvis sees everything. Jarvis hears everything. In Avengers 2 Age of Ultron, you like actually get the negatives of it, because the hostile AI then had access to all the recordings and everything what was and has been said. And that's why we don't get to Jarvis yet, because, like, no, we can't just have it access everything, because, like, the implications, like, from security perspective are like one data breach and your whole life's exposed. Nope. I think that's like science fiction, and will stay that way for a bit at least. Especially if you think like Meta's the Ray-Ban Meta AI glasses, cool product, and now they say like, by the way, like everything you record with it, like we use it for training, and you can opt out, but that's how it is for now. Yeah, I think you get the gist of it. I have to quickly jump to LinkedIn, because I noticed just I don't see the LinkedIn chat. Let me have a quick. Yeah. Okay. Nothing I missed. Nothing that I missed here. Okay. Good having a lot of monitors. Okay. So, but yeah, that's basically what I say. Okay, like it should be a base container. I think it will also be like a console, like maybe a console, maybe no. Not sure, because this one and this one are not as easy. They're also not AI questions. They're more infrastructure questions. Yeah, but I'm not sure how to solve it. So, and that's why I say like come up with a version one, which basically gets some extent of what the goal is, but it's already useful. So, first of all, did I miss something? I think you get the gist of it. Like, I want to be able to do stuff that I do usually on computer just by voice. And I think it's a bit more like having an AI operating system where the interface is not a keyboard and mouse anymore, but the interface is voice. And not only voice, but also a kernel that thinks, and it's not only executing. So you have this AI, like, for example, I say I want to set up a project with Next.js. So it goes ahead and executes the Next.js stuff. So I don't have to say like create this config, create this file, create that, because that's not feasible, right? And then the next, like you create the Next.js, project. In the terminal, it asks you questions, it asks for input. And I would love to have my AI tell me, hey, by the way, like I need these inputs. Like, can we please do this again? And it does it again. Also, it needs a history, it needs a rollback, but that's all like future. But that's how I think about it. Like it's more like of a new operating system, and everything has to be built around this voice interface. The cool thing is, and that's what I try to also teach a lot, is if you go ahead and you have this voice interface, it doesn't mean everything has to be ambiguous and like free form. You can give it like rules, and you can have access layers for those rules and access strategies for these rules. So like, because like not the same rules apply to setting up a programming job for like setting up a new task in my planner or create a new calendar entry, right? So that's different. So you have to you can build up systems and rules that it can dynamically get in. So that's what I always miss if I do something like GPTs or Microsoft's Copilot, is that I'm actually not able to have dynamic prompts, dynamic system prompts, where the system dynamically builds up the prompt before it answers the question. Because that you can do so much magic with that, because you get the right information. You can also, if you're fast enough, get like some potential, like a list of potential informations. Like for example, from we have Timeless AI, and in Timeless AI, I built a solution to throw in a handbook, and AI is able to make a tutorial from it, like on the fly. And then also not only give you the instructions, but also give you the screenshots. Because if you ever seen like an internal handbook in a company, it's like 70% screenshots, right? And sometimes the text doesn't even have any like useful information. It's just like click here, colon, and then you have an image, right? So and to solve that, and to also get the right documents, because like reset your password or reset the system, both resetting stuff. And if you have a vector search, you might get the wrong one. So you need some re-ranking of your actual outputs. So that's how you go about it. Let me have a quick sip from my bottle. Still not completely fit, but already further in than last week. Okay, so yeah, like that's what we aim for, like how to get step by step to the right solution. Okay, V1. Let's just call it V1. So version 1. How can we imagine this? Version 1, I would imagine it having a web interface. And this web interface will just like activate voice input and when we activate voice input and show results. Let's keep it simple for the beginning. Now, what could we? Now, let's go to the function. So, let's say we try to have it browse the internet, because I've seen like a lot of crawlers already connecting voice and ChatGPT, which looks really promising. So, like research and yeah, let's research. Let's just say web-based research and task management. Task management is nice. Okay. Task management. Because that's like, that will be the core. Task management means like create plans, have different task types for human and AI, and what I had in mind, for example, for this, let me quickly bring up ChatGPT. And let me bring up. I had. No, that's not that. It's not that. That's also not that. And somewhere I had. Interesting. This is from last week's stream. I missed some of my chats, interestingly. Was that? Ah, yeah, that's so sorry. Yeah, that was it. Okay, yeah. So what I did, I used O1. By the way, if you want to have some insights, like I had some good experience with using O1 Preview to do the heavy lifting, and then when I just want to iterate on it, you can use O1 Mini to be actually, for it to be faster. But what I did was I wanted to have a content plan for you guys. I've thrown in what our new product is, and I wanted to have some like matching content for that. And then it came up with an actually not bad content calendar. So it's not one-on-one what I want to do. And then it's also I also thought, like, let's do a promotional plan, like how to promote our content actually. Like, so that like not only 3 people are watching the stream, for example. And then I got ahead and said like, okay, this is our target audience, which actually was pretty accurate, by the way. The key messages, promotional channels, and basically it's a plan. And what I missed now was like, hey, like I want this plan not as a text, but I want this to be somewhere in the realm of like accessibility, like in some structured way. And like I always say, if you want to make something unstructured structured, AI might be your best friend. Or you have money to pay someone else to do it, but and wait longer on it. So, but yeah, if you have unstructured data and want to make it structured, AI might be the best fit. So then I went ahead and let it, based on the plan it came up with, on the plans, plural, like the content plan and the promotional plan. It came up with, I just told it like, hey, create a schema and stuff, and let's try and build an app from it. And that's what we did. And then I said, like, yeah, please make a markdown from it. And that's where I switched to GPT-4o Mini, because I was like, okay, the content is there. Let's now just switch to whatever it is that's faster and that I can use more often, because GPT-4o O1 Mini, I can use it like 50 times a day, and O1 Preview I can use 50 times a week. So it's a lot more constrained. And then I took this, threw it into my AI threw it into my AI code editor, and then let it just build the stuff out. And that's mostly what I do now. Like I just instruct the editor and test it and instruct what's to change. And it's honestly, it's like having a second year, having like a second year junior dev with you all the time, but he does not need hours for it, but seconds to iterate on it. So it's also funny how you have all these reports on like, stuff is you have 41% more bugs. That's what was one headline this week, and there is no productivity gains with AI. There is a lot of productivity gain. I built out scripts last week on Monday with AI that took me, even with AI and testing and iterating, like 8 hours or 10 maybe, for something I've never done before, by the way. And but it worked in the end. And in the end, it saved me like 5 days because I didn't need to go into 800 separate files and make it all manual, right? Now, that said, so like, I have hugely boosted my productivity. I can pump out stuff that actually works, that's actually well written. But I can do it because I'm a senior. If you're a junior dev and you just trust what it spits out, you might be as well as out of luck. So yeah, these tools are not 100%. They won't be for quite some time, and you need to be careful with it. But if you use it like I do, like just let it do the heavy lifting. You still do the thinking, and you still look at the code and then check what it's done and correct it properly. Then you will have huge productivity boost. Okay. So, but now you get what I meant. Like, I had a plan, which I actually liked, but I'm actually not in any way, shape, or form want to write this somewhere down to revisit it. And I don't want to search the chat like I did now over and over again, right? So that's that. Let me close this one. So back to Excalibur. So I think, like, if we take this, maybe this would already be more than enough for V1. Just come up with a plan, put it into some table. Maybe having it like some SQL functions to execute SQL scripts. Yeah, I think that's a good V1. If that works, it's fine. V2. Move the core to Linux. So yeah, Kevin, I think you're right. But that's exactly what I say. Like, of course you won't have junior devs now being senior all of a sudden. Like that's not gonna happen, right? And yeah, I'm actually looking at my code, and I think it's not worse. I also don't think it's better, but it's good. It works, and sometimes, especially like I said with O1, you have the ability to throw in what you thought, throw in what you want to have, and it also thinks about stuff that you might have forgotten. For example, I came up with a course that we're now selling, or like with the workshop we're now selling, and this workshop was actually was actually already fine, but I missed, just because I missed it. the data governance part, which also was important to everyone who was building AI solutions. So, and one came up with it. Like I was just like, this is my plan. Like, might you check it? Like, might you come up with some like formatted version of it, and also add what you think you want to add. And then I think it's thought for 10 or 15 seconds and spit out the plan. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Makes sense. So, of course, it's still me driving, but it's like showing me stuff that I didn't think about, and that's actually highly useful. Like I said, I for like 4 weeks didn't write a lot of code myself. At least like everything JavaScript and Python. For example, I'm not good at Python at all because I just program barely in it, and I actually love that AI is just taking that job for me and just doing it. So yeah. Yeah, Kevin, I get this. Like, I think the Primogen has done the same. He canceled his Copilot subscription, but I think he has also he repeats that he loves coding, and I actually don't love coding. I love building stuff and I love products, and coding was immer just like a means to an end for me. Even if I had my fair share, like I watched Primogen streams and I like to see the performance stuff and stuff like that. So I'm not completely hate coding at all. And I find it interesting how a processor works, because that's how I learned coding in the first place. Because like the first stuff I did was like, I had a really good teacher and he get like the deepest basics. I started also with QBasic, which was completely in console, and then we also did like we had a program back then. I was 2006. Something, yeah, I think might be right. We had like an interface where we could build like how does like automate machines. Like we can build like state machines. That's the right word. I only have the German word in mind. We could build state machines out, and we learned how actual logic works and how what logic means and stuff. So we also we also did like imaginary numbers and stuff. So like I wasn't that in depth in my actual college years. Then afterwards, yeah, that was really cool. I really liked that, and it set me up for a lot. I came to university and I was like. I think the first half year didn't learn particularly anything new because I was set up so well by my teacher back then. So sometimes you need to be lucky. Not everyone was that lucky. We had another IT class, and yeah. I totally get it. Like if you love developing and if you love coding, that's totally fine. Don't don't use this stuff. Like it's free to use it or not. For me, I was always passionate about building products, and also I've done like 14 years now of business software and the ERP, like enterprise resource planning, like big software modules that basically automate everything or try to automate as much as possible in a company and their business processes. So that's where I went ahead, and yeah, actually was always fascinated about like freeing up people's time from like really unnecessary work. Like you have to imagine, I was in companies. I came in like big, huge corporations, and you come in there and they have like a complete department of 20 people that mostly upload files. That's mostly where we can, like, and it was not that long ago. It was my first job as a freelancer. Was like 2017, and I came in there and I was shocked, and I was thinking like we prepared the new system, the rollout and stuff. So, and I was like, oh, when this is installed, you can basically reskill most of most of the staff here. And wasn't an exception. Like that's actual reality, at least in German companies. But even also international. Like sometimes they're a bit more. Especially, I've worked for an retail for e-commerce platform, and they were a bit further ahead. Like they had all of orchestrations and stuff. But still, in the day-to-day use, like oftentimes people chose the like cheap employees to do like stuff that it's not worth doing, to be honest, but needed to be done for other stuff to work. And I really hope that we can remove that with AI. And for me, like I said, it's like I don't have to do the means to an end part, and that actually helped me a lot. In the last weeks to get the stuff to customers out. Like I had like this tedious task last week. I was so happy that I could deliver on my promise, which I wouldn't have had otherwise. Because like it was the last day of the month and I wanted to finish it in that month. just AI saved me on that one. And that's the beauty of it, right? So if you have stuff, I've talked to someone last week on, actually, was it last week? Yeah, I think it was last week. He's a musician, and he didn't know about Suno or how's the other music app called? But you get what I mean, like AI music. And these apps are pretty cool. And I myself, I like to sing. And I also play a bit of guitar and play a bit of piano, but like it's barely like just to like have some music while singing, and just to play for the kids. Like it's not professional whatsoever, just like been a passion of mine. And I remember again and again, because I love to write texts, I love to also write poems and stuff. So, and again I was like trying to get some online website to actually have some pretty cool beats for me, so I can write my songs on it. Like, but everything you get is like hard hip hop beats, which I didn't want, because I love rap and I love also doing rap. That I also want some melodies, some instrumentals, like so. And then like the AI music stuff comes along, and I was like, oh, that just does what I write to it. And every musician was like, oh, there's no soul and stuff. And I'm like, I don't care. I have one special field, which is like writing the text and like actually do the vocals. That's what I like. And if there is something worth producing in the end, I always would choose the musicians. Like, look at Ed Sheeran. Just like let me end my sentence. Like, look at Ed Sheeran. You have him doing everything in his loop station on the stage. But if he goes and in the studio, he still has musicians in there, like playing different parts, right? Soonest results, creativity. To be completely honest, I was shocked how good this is, and it depends on what is creativity for you. I had one of my singing teachers, trainers. He had a good saying about creativity. He was saying that basically you had a lot of like what is it? Wait a second. I need the English word. You have a lot of puddles, like small water puddles from rain. And he said, like, when the sun shines, like all the water goes to some other place, and then it rains again. And with creativity, it's basically the same. So is Suno creative? Basically, it's doing that. Like, it's taking inspiration from the inputs and the whatever adjusted the weights, and spits out something new. And I would argue that we humans are basically the same. Like, all the influences, all what we all that, like that we took with our senses has shaped our brain, right? That's like our creativity. Like we're not completely like it's not completely new what I do, but I have influences. I had some music I heard like 34 years now of stuff, and that's all going into then what I do, what I create, and I consider myself a creative person for that matter. And I also consider programming a really creative task, which wasn't always the case, at least from my perspective. But meanwhile, I was like, it's a highly creative task even, which combines creativity and technical stuff, and that's, I guess, why I'm always back to building stuff and creating products. For example, I'm also a big fan of Formula One because of all the technical stuff. Like from that point of view, I'm a nerd. So yeah, a bit of a long answer to that, but I actually like what Suno's coming up with, especially if I have maybe some other metaphor. You have IKEA, and some people like would never go to IKEA because they have the money to buy some designer sofa or whatever, table, chairs, and they're free to do it. They still go it, and everyone who's not that into like paying thousands of dollars for a sofa or euros is going to IKEA and gets a sofa for like $500-$600, and everyone else can some designer or have handcrafted stuff, which then gets even more value. And yeah, it depends. Like, yeah, I think a lot of Fiverr stuff will get replaced. For example, I wouldn't pay for a stock photo anymore. Like I have my website, and this photo here of this guy, that's AI. I generated it. Also, like I think with Midjourney, I iterated about it. And I first started. I wanted to have a diagram, and then I thought, maybe a room full of people, like in a business meeting. And then I thought, why don't we combine diagram and people? And that's how we came up with, like, I think 3 or 4 iterations of that. Yeah, and that's where we got. But yeah, it's also like a lot of coding monkey jobs. Like if you had some Indian, Pakistani, Brazilian developer who was just like, I don't know if you ever worked with Indian people, but if you don't, like, Indians are like really, really good developers if you find the right ones. If you don't get the right ones, you get people who are basically not able and not willing to think themselves, and they just do what you say them, and they do exactly what you say them. Like that's at least what my experience was, and it's also to others that I talked to, because they have just like their schooling system. They have like, it's so many people they can't like do an individual education like we have it in Germany, for example. There's still like smart people. They're really, I really liked. I was also to India like for 10 days and was on a wedding there, and I like how creative and they are in solving stuff quickly. Like I've seen solutions to things I would have never come up with, and I've seen many people on one scooter. So that's that. But yeah, all this like coding monkeys, how we call them, or like how I used to call them, they are out of jobs. All the people that didn't provide value. But if you have a Fiverr creative that is, if you have a Fiverr creative that is able to have some edge, some like something that makes him unique selling point. Like it's always about like having your USP. Then you I think you always will be able to get off. I by the way, I've met a German artist, and she's She's doing like artworks for film companies and stuff. And she was telling me, like, yeah, I'm still do what I did before, but now I have like a cheaper like version of what I do, where I pre-generate an AI image, and then just added it to my liking, and like it's not the same quality that I produce if I do the full work, but it's also a lot cheaper for everyone. So yeah, I'll just offer it. And it was so refreshing for me, for someone like, because you talk to a lot of artists and they're basically just blocking stuff out, like the same, like it was the same with Spotify back in the day. Like once in a while they had this one artist which is like 30 years in the game, and it was like, I don't go to Spotify, I don't like that. And meanwhile, like everyone's on Spotify. And I think it's the same with AI. Like you have a new technology, it's disrupting the current state of the art, and yeah. The offshore stuff. Yeah. I think I can also show your message here on stream. Can I? Yeah. The offshore stuff. A customer of mine solves many small programming tasks with ChatGPT. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I also like, if I would have had complicated algorithms, I wouldn't even start with ChatGPT, to be honest, or Claude 3.5 for that matter. That's stuff I still do myself. But how many of my tasks are that? Like, I've done so many stuff that's basic CRUD operations or basic database handling and stuff, which is just tedious work. And I'm so happy and so glad that AI can do this for me, and it does this with enough precision so that I don't have to think about it anymore. Translation is the same. I have in my day-to-day development for the enterprise like ERP software, I have to translate everything because we always have the Germans, but we also have, meanwhile, a lot of companies who have international staff. They need German and English, so I need to get every new field, every new label, everything always through the translations. And I've got so much faster with the AI that's it's not even funny anymore. It used to take so much time, and now it's so much faster. Is it perfect all the time? No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just have to be good enough so that I don't lose more time correcting the imperfect stuff than I gain with the stuff that actually works. So yeah. Okay. I would love to go on, and let's quickly sketch out. Or do we sketch out? Let's sketch out V1 first before, like, maybe one sentence for each version. So V2 would be like an in between. Like this is the end goal for the first like partly, maybe even sometimes fully autonomous version of that. Just to recap, I would love to have a personal voice assistant. The situation being, I have my children, I'm sitting and sleeping on me, and I'm basically not able to use my arms properly. I'm sitting in a car and just have my voice for me. So like all the time where I have time to think and time to come up with things, and maybe had even time to test stuff, I would love to have a voice agent helping me execute and stuff. So bringing my thoughts to some structure. So my unstructured thoughts being evaluated by an AI and being put to work with AI. And to be completely honest, like with AI, if you stack AI on AI on AI and chain a lot of stuff, and everything is a bit off. At some point, stuff breaks. So, and that's also something I used to do when developing AI algorithms. I tried to split stuff up. I also tried to see where can I cut context, because if you have a long conversation or iterate a lot, you don't need the whole context all the time. So try to have some separation of concerns, basically, where you work with what you have, because the more you have in your context, the sooner you get to a point where it becomes diluted and your answers become very generic. So all the precision you get into with your system prompts, like I said, it's basically diluting the outputs. Yeah, the German authorities, Kevin. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Um, I think like everyone who's actually working with its brain and trying to use it to actually solve problems, we won't be replaced that quickly. But I also think we shouldn't be too sure about any of that. Okay. Okay, V2. Like, if we have the web interface, we have the web-based search, and we have a task management, then we actually would introduce the operating system access. I'm also not sure if I'm overthinking this, but for me, like in my version of this, I have some container hosted somewhere. AI is not able to do anything outside this container except of web searches in a really rule-based and like guarded and guided manner. So it's not able to go to every website. It's not able to be completely free. Why that? I'm not scared of it going rogue or something. Not at all. I'm more of like, I want the system to be stable. And the more rules I have in place to guide the AI, the more stable the system will become. Like, that's what I always tell all my customers. Like, you have to have a clear rule set. Like, the more you're able to get out the ambiguity of the actual request. This does not mean the first request. Like, if I type in the request, it might be ambiguous, but the AI has to have a step where it tries to understand the underlying question and rephrase the question. And if there is still some stuff that's too ambiguous, the AI has just to ask the user. And that's what I'm not seeing in a lot of systems. It's like, why don't they ask the user for more information? It's not like you can even do this with GPTs. I can even show this to you. I've done one GPT for ad copies, just as an example. And what I actually did was just simply write, hey, where is it? Like, I think, yeah, this is what we need from the information. Like, you have to collect the following information from the user. And the GPT was completely fine with collecting it. So if I only gave it a description, it asked me for the target audience and which tone. If I didn't give it the tone in the second place, it just ignored it because I said this last one is optional. So and that was it, and it worked pretty well. The whole GPT, for that matter, not the best thing ever, because GPTs, like I said, are static, and I always work with samples. And if I always have to copy new samples in here, just won't work properly. This was, by the way, the first stream we did at all. Was thinking about how we could build this to a proper system. You can watch it back in the library. I think this stream is only on YouTube. That's where we are to. Okay, so it's just everything in from V1 and introduce the operating system access. Like I said, for me, like, I would love to have an interface layer, which is the voice, and I would love to have some tool set which the AI can access, and some tool set around reducing ambiguity and asking questions and having like basically a thinking part, where I hope I could even use maybe O1 Mini because it's like just really fast. And V2 would be V3 would be V2 plus executing and creating its own code, because I think that's the end game. So if you say, okay, by the way, you can execute and create your own code if you seem it fit to solve a problem, There is so much that can go wrong. There's so much ambiguity. Should be the first stuff you aim for. It's the most. It's cool, but also might just run into errors after errors after errors, and this whole system won't work if you go with like 20% of your requests being worked properly on. Because I imagine it to be at some point where I have my voice interface. It creates a file. I see this file as an artifact. I can say, hey, please rework the first section. If I, for example, have a blog post I want to create, I want not only the AI to write stuff for me, but I also want to be able to just dictate. But I want to dictate passages of it. I also wanted to keep it history. Like if I have if I created a post, we'll be able to post it on LinkedIn, for example. And then I want to have it like just save it. No, that's what I say. Like, no, I don't execute the code on my local machine. That's a closed Linux container. I want some container somewhere where I can access it with, as long as I have internet, of course, through a web interface, and maybe an app. Just like spin up some quick, because like the interface itself, it's not that. It has to be simple. Like that's at least how it's in my head. Like it's just a voice interface which is able to show artifacts, which is able to show a web browser, for example, to actually see what's happening on the machine. For example, you spin up. You can execute terminal commands. So spin up an XGS project, for example. Say npm run dev. Say ngrok. HTTP 3000, and then like give this to the front end so the front end can execute on that. So that's the way. Like I said, I'm hands-free, and I have to not only be able to dictate stuff, I also have to see what it's doing. But I have to see it in a way where it actually makes sense, because a lot of stuff it might do in the background. And for the first version, for the second version, and even for the third version, you would still be at a point where you have just a reset button, like reset the whole process, do a complete rollback, but not on my local machine. Do this in some container, and I would also like just only do Python and only do with whitelisted libraries, for example, where I'm actually I might be only able to edit the whitelist when I'm authorized in the front end. So that's how I was thinking about it. Yeah, a lot of things. Like I would love to set it free, but like I said, I have to be careful and set like actually useful guardrails. Okay. So I think we have like 20 minutes left before I finish today's stream. So let's go and sketch out V1. What parts do we need? Let's start with the... let's start with a schema of like which parts work and talk to each other. Web interface. Skynet incoming. Now, for me, like my role model is Jarvis, because like one of the coolest things I think for like in Iron Man's when he was like Iron Man 1, like the first film, he was sitting there and just talking to Jarvis and like, hey, like I need a new alloy for that, and could you paint it red? And like he's going off to the party, and I was like, actually, this is a language interface which has access to tools, right? Like it's a language interface that's able to execute on like welding tools and have some access to some metal somewhere which it can process. So in the end, like it even Iron Man even says like the film is from 2012, I think. No, 2014, Age of Ultron. And he says like this was 2 years before Transformers came on, and he was saying like, Oh, by the way, like Java started as a simple language interface, and now is running the whole company. And I found it. I find like I love these gems in like previous films that basically resemble what we are where we are at today. Like we start like searching for AGI now from a language interface, which I find kind of funny because yeah, Iron Man has predicted that. So yeah, was kind of cool. But yeah, we have a web interface. This web interface will have some functions, voice input, WebSockets, for that matter. I also think, how does OpenAI go about this? Let's have a look at the docs, because I think they actually assume you are on the. Yeah, you have to be. You have to be. I was just thinking, like, if you can, like, because you have to set up a WebSocket connection, but they setting up from the backend, and you have actually no other way, I think, because otherwise you would need some OAuth authentication, and I think it's all API key based. So you have to keep it on the server. So you have to have a WebSocket connection to your server, and then you have a WebSocket connection from the server to OpenAI, and then that's the thing is I always love to keep stuff simple, but I think you have to have the stations. I haven't done some real time for like some years now. Always loved the topic, but didn't have enough time to do some real time work. But yeah, voice input, WebSockets, voice output, and let's see. We need some rendering. What? Like some iframe, I guess, would be enough. Like browser. Window, and then we have access to the tasks. I just think, like, would V2 include already, because it being able to execute SQL is actually something that might help, but I think that's too much for V2. Yeah, that's too much. Okay, so we have a web interface, which gives me some classical interface, but mostly focuses on the voice stuff. Then we have, of course, our server. So, and now I would love to go with you and actually sketch out the requests and how I think they might, how we might go about it. So let me do this. We have some chains. Okay, so now we get the voice. We get the voice. Send voice. And server now, like, we just implicate, we just assume the server is like the direct connection to OpenAI. No, let's do it properly. We have some OpenAI. By the way, I have already access on Azure, but I have one request per minute, which is basically useless. So I can't use it yet. But I would do this with OpenAI on Azure, so it stays in my tenant. Yeah. Okay, go back. We go forth. So. That's basically the actual AI. So what we will need to do How you have some stuff we need to do before we send it here. Okay, let me quickly remove this. Like the server enters its pipeline, and let's just sketch out one simple pipeline. I think then we will be out of time anyway. So the pipeline now takes in the request. Let me quickly. Okay, let's do it like this. Okay, thank you. So, analyze requests. So let's. No, we can't analyze the request because this is like voice to voice. So the real-time API works like this. So you have the voice input, like I'm talking to Mike, and it creates a WAV file. You send basically the WAV data directly into OpenAI's WebSockets. Like you connect it to the WebSocket and you stream basically your audio to OpenAI. When it recognizes a pause in what you're saying, like it starts from like the first audio it hears, which is actually audio and not like flat background noise. It starts recording and then it looks for a pause. Like if you check out the playground, you have silence duration, like where you can set up, okay, how much pause is a pause, right? And then it goes and puts it in like and answers back. I think there is no, like I don't like the first, when I get the first week request, I don't have the text because I would have to transcribe it first, right? So I don't actually work on that. So what we would actually do is we would craft a prompt with all the function calls we need. And then we do a back and forth. So I have this actually in the Python program I tested this with. So yeah, then this first one was right. So we go ahead, we ask OpenAI, we get back, and what we get back is voice and text. Which means this first call has to be like mostly meant for executing the functions, like which functions to call. One downside of this is what I love to do usually is I take the request and check the underlying questions and reformulate this and then throw it in. I have to skip this for now. Well, I don't have to skip this necessarily, but I would have to have a function call which basically says clarification. And you could do a first request where you just say, okay, this is a required function where clarification is called, and then you can go ahead and actually say like if function like function call pipeline. No, you can cache the voice. So because like you receive the voice packages, so you can cache that because in the end it's just normal stream packages like you receive now from the stream. Like basically like, it's nothing special. The special thing is that you mean, okay, I think with caching you mean, yeah, because it recognizes the interruption and we just have a continuous stream. Yeah, so maybe I just opened the project. It's also not my project, it's from another YouTuber. So what he does is like he has a timetable where he logs stuff, and if we look at the code, No, that's the function calls. Async microphone. Yeah, it just queues it and then goes ahead. Yeah, not sure honestly. You could do basically like 5-second 5-second clips and just save them. So you can definitely cache it because you have the voice input. Like it's not going straight into, like I have the voice on the server, collect it and send it through to OpenAI. So for that, like you are able to intercept the actual wave, the actual like binary data. Yeah. It depends. Like they have two ways how they actually do. Like they have like you can still send a text. You can also use the Realtime API just to send text. You can send user audio, which is their version of like collect the audio yourself and then send it. And that's I think where you hand over the detection of the interruption is when you directly stream it to the source. So they basically say, hey, you have all the options. And one of the cool things now is that you get back the voice output directly as like an audio stream. Because before you would have gotten back the audio and then you would have needed another call to actually create text from the audio. And one thing I think people underestimate is this directly voice in also gives, like, it's truly multimodal, which means it also understands if you're hectic or you're like sad or stuff. Like it can understand your emotions, and I think that's something you have to incorporate in some way, shape, or form. If the application, or you can you don't have to, you can incorporate if your application will benefit from it, right? So, for example, so if you have like a coding agent, like, and it's handing over the wrong solution like the 5th time, and you start to get really angry that it gets ahead and says like, do we want to restart? Like you might say, yeah, actually that's a good idea. Yeah, something like that, because I think that's something you should definitely try to make use of, especially if you implement some sales automation or something. That's definitely something you have to take into consideration. So back to the drawing board. Yeah, so like, let's keep it simple. We send the voice. We hand over some function calls. One function call might be clarifying, where it tries to then call a function and hand it back over to before it gets the answer. We get voice and text, and text includes function call. That's so, and then we can execute the functions, and then it's basically execute function, and then hand over result. Yeah, like I would say, like you gave, I'm not sure, like I think this is not the best way to write it and draw it out. Let's keep it like this. So because I my first idea was to have basically like a frame where you say like, this is the pipeline where we go through, but I think this it will not work properly, because you have to know, it's like, if you have a straight pipeline, it's still really, you don't want this always, because it's still like classical programming. Like I do stuff sequentially and stuff. So because you want to hand over the AI some agency, like that's why it's called an AI agent in the end, because it has some agency on deciding what to do with the request. So that's why you would go about it more or less in a loop, where you say, okay, now I execute the function and hand over the result, and this is calling the again, and you get the voice back, right? Or you basically go from here to, let's make it here. So like you would go back to the, and that's actually how you do the function calls. You like when it gives you a function call back, it gives you a function call ID, and you hand over the function call ID, which is necessary because it actually has an internal session handling. So yeah, and that's how you would go about this. But it's not like, if this is prompt A, this would be prompt B, and would be a bit different, right? So let's say we go here, then we get this back and go about a pipeline here. I think that might be the best way to go about it. Looks a bit odd, to be honest. And the functions will be actually what I usually do, like in my chain, when I try to have a better retrieval and to improve on my RAG pipeline. And now we would go ahead and just try to create a collection of functions, and also maybe not only one collection but several collections, like depending on which context we are. Like the function, the functions to choose might, like, that's, I like the thought. Let me quickly write it out. So basically you have your functions, and you have categories of tasks, like classes of tasks. So one class would be operating system, another class would be task management, and depending on the class, you can have some joined, like you have a function collection in general, and then you can say, okay, the category functions go about it, and the clarify, like, and you start off with a function to, like, this all concept, right? Like I will test it out, and maybe we make a follow-up stream next week where I show off how this worked. Or not maybe, I will do a follow-up stream. So you have all the functions, which is basically like create a file, delete a file, create a task, execute a SQL query, stuff like that. Now you go ahead and say, okay, I don't need every function for every potential task I wanted to handle. If I wanted to make a plan, I only need the planning category task functions. So because, like I said, you don't want to bloat your context, and that's also true for the functions, right? Because if you put all your functions always in there, it just will disturb your, it just like will pollute your results, and you will be, you will be screwed. So if you want to have one basically contact point, which is for different tasks, different angels, and like that. So yeah, then I would go like this. So go for functions, which are actually the functions you use. For example, we have here stuff like, where is it? Yeah, delete file, right? Delete file would be one function, and what he did was he had, I think, some, where is it? jeez. Where was long story short, he has basically all the functions in an object, which he then calls and just throws in the arguments, and the arguments are then described also in the prompt. Okay, yeah, I'll come up with some more details next week. So yeah, back to the drawing board. So we have a bunch of functions, we have categories, and each category is basically bundles up the functions. So then we would basically not execute function. Yeah, it would be execute function still, but we would say, okay, first define category, head over result, and then go with the category function calls and go ahead and say, like, if we don't have a function call, like as soon as we have an answer when no function needed to be called, then we're good. Would be also interesting to see when we say like to like leave the audio away, because like this is only a function call and we don't need audio return. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can do this. Otherwise, you just generate audio, because every response it generates, like, you pay per minute, right? Or per second, I guess. And I think you pay for output. OpenAI Realtime API pricing. So OpenAI preview mini. What's the real-time API? Okay, so you have basically $5 per 1 million input tokens and $20 per 1 million output tokens, and I think it's 6 cents per minute what this amounts to of input, and then would be like 4 times that, like 24 cents for an output. Did they Realtime API? There's the blog post, and there they had pricing. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's what I 6 cents per minute of audio input and 24 minutes of audio output. So the the more we can avoid generating audio, the less expensive it gets. But that's something for some pipeline optimization. Okay. So yeah, we would define the category, and with the category we would head over the results and then call the actual task fulfillment prompt, basically, with all the necessary functions. And we'll go in the loop until it's ready, and then when it's ready, we give out an answer. And based on the answer, we could also trigger stuff on the web interface, I guess, so that we can open up some artifacts like feature, if you've used it, or canvas-like feature on OpenAI now, to actually show results and iterate on stuff, which also would depend on the category we are in, right? So that would be something. could just like add generative UI to that, so that generates the UI element on server. But yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I will leave it with that for today. I know the concepts today is like really, 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 really rough. But yeah, we get some definition based on the V1 definition. I will come up with a set of functions and also a set of categories, and I'll think and prepare it for next week. And then we go through results and test it. So yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for your questions. And yeah, it was lovely chatting with you. I hope you were at least partly entertained. And yeah, I I will improve the streams and everything, but for now, hope you learned something. Hope you get some input, and I thank you for your input, and see you next week. Bye bye.